Howdy. On we go. We are on chapter number 6. So this is a brief analysis of it to make it simple for everybody to grasp easily. So we're talking about business intelligence, right? And big data analytics. All right. So why is there to have data analytics, or what is it? It is about identifying trends and patterns in data to be able to predict the future, and also to be able to better inform managers, or be informed in your decision making. So it's more or less, you have a whole lot of data, you turn it into what? Into information by what? Adding value to it. So you study the patterns and the trends, and then you are able to determine, make a decision based on that. It is as simple as it sounds, right? But then you have big data. All right, we have big data. We go to an example is with Airbnb, right? There was a data scientist. I don't know if he's still there. His name is Riley Newman. Okay, this is a guy who said that they used to just determine, how many houses that they have in what big cities, right? In what big cities. But now, with data analytics, they are able to find out patterns, to be able to better enrich the customer experience. There are certain nuances that customers actually want. You might think they want the city center, but no, sometimes they want the suburbs. There are certain other things that come with it that they want. Maybe the house should be just of a certain size. They need certain facilities. They need all these things in it. So they get all of these to be able to determine to be able to enhance the customer experience, and they get it from what? From the data that is out there on social media. When customers get in, they share their experiences and stuff. So they collect all this information to better understand what is going on. All right, so we live in a day and age where, instead of just regular data, right, like keeping employees numbers, employees information, or just knowing, the kind of transactions that people come to your organization to engage in. Now we have big data. That is what? Enormous and complex data. Where are we getting all this data from? Because it's the advent of what? Technology. There's technology everywhere. There's computer everywhere. We live in a computer age. Everything is computerized, all right? So data has also become what? Humongous, all right? So then organizations have to dig deep. They go on social media sites. They go on websites. They use what? Somewhat video surveillance, data that they get from your car, right? Data that they get from things like Internet and Things. That's what they call it. And these are like Siri, that you have in your house, and Alexa, and all these things, right? It collects a whole lot of information. Even your smart TV has all these things, and so it is what needed to improve business strategies, strengthen business operations, and enrich decision making in order for you to be able to get what should we call it, ahead, right? Gain competitive advantage. So Bristol Myers and other pharmaceutical companies, they also do these things. they analyze data so that they can be able to provide you with your pharmaceutical need tailored for just you. It used to be that they used data from the average person on the street, just average, and then they are able to determine, what kind of drugs are going to be out there, going to be good for you. But we all different. So now they zoom in, they use somewhat your genetics, they use your environment, and so they can be able to provide therapy for you and only you, right? Home Depot, they also get on social media sites like what Pinterest, right, and other places, and then they know it's people who have just bought new houses or who are into renovating their houses and stuff, and then they advertise. The advertisement is targeted at you, right? Or they are able to also send you some information on social media when you checking your social media site. You realize that all of a sudden Home Depot is advertising to you, right? You're like, okay, what is going on? That's because they are able to gather all this information. When I go on Amazon site and buy one thing, the next, you know, the next thing I know, it's a whole lot of those or similar products. So they're gonna tell you they recommend this for you and all that, right? So they study what trend. So like I said, big data is what is enormous and complex because we live in an age of technology. So there are five characteristics of this big data. What are they? It's all V. So volume, velocity, value, veracity, which means the truth, and variety. All right. So what is volume? How big is this data? We have gigabytes, which is billions, right? We have terabytes, which is trillions. We have megabytes, which is millions. Now we're talking about zettabytes, which means there are 21 zeros at the end of it. So it's like 10 to the power 21 trillion. That is how humongous this is, the volume of information has become. And of course they get it from where? Like I said, automobiles, even medical devices and home appliances, like I said, and also aircraft engines also have all kind of data, security cameras everywhere. So, yep. And then the velocity, the speed, that means just the speed in this context, the speed at which data is generated is also dizzying. It is just, it's going to make your head spin. You have about 2.5 quintillion bytes. We're talking about what? We're talking about 15 zeros at the end of what? 2,500. So 2,500 plus 15 zeros. That is what it is. What 2.5 quintillion. All right. And yep. So there's a lot of data being collected. These days, and then we also have what value. How relevant is it? With all these data, of course, you have to get the chaff out, right? Get the nonsense out and be able to keep the one that is relevant. So that creates a huge problem, so you need so as a management information manager or as a manager, you got to revamp your management information system, get a scientist, a data scientist, which is quite different from IT specialist, right? You can rely on a data scientist, but as a manager, you're supposed to be able to also know these things. All right. That is why when you go to school, you learn all kind of subjects, all right? Because you cannot only make economic decisions. You should also be able to to make what account decisions, overall business management decisions. And so when so data scientists actually they have degrees in what, in computer science. If you look at their background, they also have some sort of engineering background. They also have economics background so that they can be able to analyze. And they have statistics background, right? So they know business, they know finance, and they are able to as well as their computer science, so that they can be able to better analyze data. It's making sense of it, basically. So if you have some brains, you can be able to just they can train you on that, and you can become a data scientist. There are schools that offer that program: Boston University, Villanova, USC Berkeley, yep, and other places. So of course, it's also what number four is what is variety. There are a lot of places where you can collect these data, as I've mentioned. Some of these are what, unstructured. Some of them are structured. Structured are the ones that are collected by the businesses in terms of what their inventory, their customer profile, and all those employee data. And then the unstructured are the ones that they get from phone messages, phone text, pictures, social media, videos, and all that. And then of course the veracity of it means what, again, is mean truth, all right, which in this context you can say is a quality data that you've got. How do you determine that? You determine that by its accuracy, right? And how complete is it, and also does it serve the purpose for which you obtain it, all right? Of course, you can also collect data from sensors, as I said, like from Internet of Things, which are sensors in your home appliances. So don't forget that. Like Siri play this music, Siri do this. It's collecting all the information that is going on in your house. So if there's anything at all, then the FBI can come in and then get all that information. So we use that big data for advertising, like I said. So I'm talking about the uses of big data for what, advertising. So they know what you do on social media, and everything else. When you purchase something from stores, they keep your record, and then they advertise. They tailor the advertising towards you. Then also, we have social media influencers, and you also have social media adversaries, so that they can know what is going on with their products, and they can change the mind of those adversaries, or they can promote a social media influencer, right? They also monitor your social network to gain insight into your into customer behavior, of what you like and what you do not like, so they don't waste money on certain things that they know you don't like. So these days, it's about customer experience, right, that we are targeting, and not necessarily the customer relations, which sort of comes under the broad customer experience, which is targeted at what you feel, your responses to certain things. So you have a say. Manufacturers also analyze minute vibrations, from their equipment, to be able to determine wear and tear. And so, to be able to determine wear and tear, to know the lifespan of their product. All right. Financial organizations also use data to identify a customer more likely to be attracted to their financial office. Right. That's what they do to give you all kind of credit cards. All right. So there are challenges in big data, of course. With this humongous set of data, you have to be able to decipher, not necessarily decipher, but narrow it down to its essence to get whatever you like. So how to choose what subset of data to store? take out the trash and leave the rest, right? Take out the chaff. So you where and how, you also have a problem of where and how the data is going to be stored. With this big zettabytes of data, my God, where are you going to store it? How to find these nuggets of data, this little data that is relevant, of course, how to derive value. That's why you need, as data scientists, you need to study patterns. All right, there's a software for that though, but you still need a human being to be behind it, to be able to make sure everything is accurate, and stuff. And also, it is so much data. It's difficult to find what they need and how valid it is. Okay, how are you gonna find this data in the first place? There are so many channels that you can use, as I've said, but the relevance of it is what matters. And also, the probably last but not the least is the privacy of the data. You got to keep the data private. This data of people, you got to be able to keep it private. Otherwise, you are going to be in violation of regulations, government regulations. And what's going to happen? You are going to get fined. And also, what's going to happen? The customers are not going to trust you anymore. And so they would not want to do business with you. So what happens? There's technology. There are technologies used to manage and process big data. And these are, number one, data warehouses. Number two, extract, transform, load, process. This one, extract, transform, load, process. It is in your PowerPoint. We have data marts, like Walmart, data marts. And then we have what? Data lakes. We have NoSQL, the non-relational SQL databases. We also have Hadoop, HADOP. We also have in-memory databases, which is like RAM, right, which stores the data, but they have special what you call a software for that other than the RAM. So what is a data warehouse? Just a large database, that is used for business purposes to store, to gather all your information. It holds business information from many sources. So like Walmart uses it. All the banks, they have the warehouse database. All right, but then next to it is the extract, transform, load that I'm talking about. Extract, transform, load process that I'm talking about. Now this process takes data from a variety of sources, right? Edits and transforms it into a format used in the data warehouse. All right, so it ensures the quality of data in the data warehouse. Okay, there's a software for that. So so you have the data warehouse, and then you get a software for this to transform whatever you have in the data warehouse, to extract, to edit it, and to transform it into a format to arrange it that you need. We have the data marts, like Walmart data mart, which is a subset of data warehouse, small version that is used by smaller businesses or mid-sized businesses. The data warehouse is normally used by big businesses like Walmart. We also have data lakes, which is even bigger than the data warehouse. It is just a pool of data, raw data, and it stores everything without any extraction and transformation and all that we mentioned. That can be used for the data warehouses. This is just a lake of everything, raw, unadulterated. And then we have the NoSQL, NoSQL, right? Database, which is, like I said, is non-relational, and so it can store a whole lot of data, unstructured and mainly unstructured and semi-structured. All right, so it allows for a bigger storage. We also have what Hadoop. Hadoop stores large files by breaking them down into smaller blocks, all right, and distributing them across multiple computers. So that is the advantage of it. It can distribute the data. It makes it into different blocks and distributes it to different computers, and and so they also have a redundancy and fault tolerance. All right, so when there's a fault with it, it can still be able to what you call distributed across multiple computers. We also have in-memory databases, which you can attach. Stores the entire data in RAM access. It is a bigger version. Higher speed of RAM. RAM, you all know, is what storage software, right? All right, where are we? All right, so now the next thing is analytics and business intelligence. All right, so I mentioned what business analytics is, right? Business analytics is getting a whole lot of data and trying to transform this data into what? Into information. So you adding knowledge to it to make it what? Relevant. You studying patterns. You studying trends. All right. Business intelligence, is used to analyze what historical data to tell what happened or is happening right now, okay, in your business. So business intelligence help organizations to learn from the past mistakes and build upon their success. All right. I hope you understand that. So so you have that. What you call the broad umbrella is the business intelligence, where you have all kind of data, historical data, and you are able to use that to predict the future by doing what? By analyzing it. All right. So it's used interchangeably. Business intelligence and business analytics. It's basically the same thing. Um, so business intelligence, right? It includes what? A wide variety of applications, practices, technologies for the extraction, transformation, integration, visualization, analysis, interpretation, presentation of data, and to support improved decision making. All right. So this is the bigger umbrella, and it's basically the same thing. It's basically what analyzing the data. Whether you are extracting it, you are transforming it, you are integrating it, and then you are visualizing it. It all boils down to analyze. Analyzing is what simplified, getting the essence of it, and then using it as information to make your decisions, right? To help you in your decision making process. All right, so benefits achieved is what? Improved forecasting, of course. Kroger, they used business intelligence and analytics to be able to predict pharmacy customers and what they come in to fill, what kind of prescription they normally come in to fill out, so that they don't run out of it. You can have stocks of some stuff that people don't want. Some medication. Most people want a certain type of medication, right? Um, Mainly diabetes medicine, high blood pressure. So, I mean, they could have even asked me, and I would have told them, hey, you got to have a stack of those things, right? Because from just regular intelligence, that is what's happening. You don't need no analytics on that, but also then sort of need it. They used it. Kroger used it, right? All right. Increased sales, of course. Daimler Chrysler, for example, used business intelligence to determine what customers think about their pricing, and so they were able to reduce car prices a little bit. They were also able to give incentives. All right. They also optimize what you call it operations. That means that you're cutting down on inefficiencies and you are able to be cutting down on cost, right? Waste, and be able to go straight according to what the customers need, produce that and provide it to them. And so Chevron used data analytics to Chevron, the gas station, right? They use data analytics to be able to provide a kind of gasoline that is needed. Maybe the jet engines are the ones who need more gas, and so they are able to provide that accordingly. Also, maybe diesel fuels, all right, are in high demand, and also maybe some lubricants are in high demand. So they can use that to optimize their operations, all right? They can use that to optimize their operations. And also, number 4 benefit is what? To reduce cost, which Coca-Cola did effectively. So they were able to cut down on their routes. They got to deliver those Coke products in stores and stuff. They use that analysis to be able to cut down on certain routes, because they know that, well, with those stores, it takes about a week or 2 for the product to go down. In other stores, it takes about 1 day or 2 days. So they're able to go here more and reduce the time they go to other places. All right. So we all know what a role of a data scientist is, right? A data scientist collects and breaks down, basically analyze data to add value to it, to make it relevant, to make it making it relevant is called what? Information. And so the business manager is going to come in and say, oh, yeah, okay, good. I got this information from the data scientist. And like I said, to be a data scientist, you can enroll in Boston University, Colorado Technical University, George Washington University, Syracuse, right? You need to have a background, of course. Well, your concentration got to be in computer science, of course. You also have to concentrate on, you have to have a concentration in math and statistics, and also management information system, all right? So you got to have that business background, economics background. You also have to have engineering background. So there are tools to aid you in your business intelligence and analytics. These are descriptive analysis. The tools are: number 1, descriptive analysis, predictive analysis, optimization, simulation, and 5, text and video analysis. All right. So what the descriptive is just is used to promote information, or to provide information about what happened and why. Okay, so it's like you describing exactly what happened and why it happened. So you are describing, the who, the what, the why, the where, the when. All right. It is very descriptive. Under the description, under descriptive, we have what? Visual analysis, where you can use visualization, let's say like graphs and graphic format, right? Pictures and stuff, to be able to see the trends and patterns. So data scientists used visual images to be able to convey that trends and patterns, mostly charts, or some pie charts and all that, line graphs and stuff. And also they use regression analysis, where they hold example of that is linear programming, right? Where they have an independent variable and they have a dependent variable, right? So then they are able to determine sort of a cause and effect, sort of, right? Not sort of. They are able to determine cause and effect. So in pharmacy, the dependent variable could be the shelf life, or even with food, right? And then the independent variables could be the weather, the humidity, the temperature, how it's going to affect the shelf life. So they're able to do that. And so the second one is what? Predictive analysis, which is used to predict, of course, the future. All right, is used to analyze current data to identify future possibilities. In this case, we have time series, all right, where analysis can be used to solve such problems as predicting hour by hour the number of patients in a hospital emergency room. Okay, you use this time series to be able to tell you, oh, around this time there's going to be more patients on Wednesdays or on Thursdays, right? At this hour by hour, you can be able to use that to predict, and so to be able to staff the hospital. We also have under predictive analytics. We also have analytics. We also have what? Data mining, which is of course, business intelligence tool used to explore large amounts of data for hidden patterns. All right, to predict future trends and behaviors. All right, so it's just you go in, dig out data, historical data, get a bunch of them, and then try to determine the patterns in it to be able to predict the future. And of course, optimization, as I said, is what used to allocate scarce resources, right? Did I say that? Okay, now I'm saying it, to allocate scarce resources, right? To minimize cost efficiently. So it's about efficiency, cutting down on all the unnecessary trips and stuff, to cut down on what you call it, providing services to places that it's not needed, right? We also have what? Simulation, which is computer emulating real world situations, right? So it's like, we all know what simulation is. The computer is trying to make it, emulate real life. So this is how, an example is, you can use a computer. They use a computer to know how the universe was formed. All right. They also use it to know the spread of diseases, how diseases are likely to spread. They use it during COVID time to be able to determine which places that they're going to enforce strict masking and stuff. They're going to enforce a whole lot of social distancing. It wasn't like you were supposed to wear masks. Everybody was supposed to do that, although they made it seem like that's how it is, because there were some places that they didn't have a whole lot of population anyway, right? They also used to determine what traffic flows and also performance of aircraft and automobiles, right? And then the fifth one is text and video analysis, all right, where they get your text messages, they get anything that you've written, they are able to get hands on it, and then also anything in the form of video, they are able to use that to gain insights into what you are about, your patterns, your what you call it, shopping habits, your customer experience and stuff like that, and they are able to provide good services to you. All right, so there are popular business intelligence and analytics softwares. These softwares include what? Hyperion. We also have Autonomy Idle. We also have Cognos Business. Cognos Business Intelligence. We also have Business Intelligence. We also have Power BI for Office 365, provided by Microsoft. So if you are part of the information systems team, or if you've worked in corporate America, you should be able to know some of these things. If you don't know, well, now you know, you have an idea of what it is. So when you go there, you can be trained as to how to use it. You can also have a self-service analytics. This includes training techniques and processes that empower end users to perform their own analysis. All right, so you can train yourself. There is an app for that, right? There's an app for everything. All right, so this is what this topic is about. This chapter is about. And so, of course, I'm gonna give you some assignments. Also, read your PowerPoints, and you're gonna be able to grasp everything. And then on, of course, we go. Sooner or later, we're gonna come to the honor of it. All right. All right, don't fail now. Don't fail. Do not fail. This is not hard. All right, take care. Bye-bye.